and welcome to another episode of Critical Hits, not a podcast anymore. Show, I guess we could call it, series, where we rate games that we elect, or each one of us will pick a game, and we kind of rotate through who's picking the game. So this month, or not, okay.
A lot of changes.
We're trying, yeah.
Yep.
So now it became too much to kind of do a month thing. You know, life has a lot going on, so we kind of just change it to a more open and free system where it's just whenever we beat the game. And I think it's gonna work a lot better this way. This time around, I chose, since we kind of fresh start, fresh everything, we started this whole Critical Hits with FF7, brought it back to our roots, you could say, with FF9. And this game,
So awesome.
yeah, I love this game. What was your guys' kind of experience to this game outside of or before you played it?
I didn't
played this game a lot.
about FF9 at all. Honestly, I've heard of FF10 and FF7, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was like one of the more appreciated ones, but I didn't think anything was like that special about it other than that.
Yeah, I feel like you can definitely, with all of the FF games, you'll find a cult following of each game, kind of. So like you've probably seen everybody say a certain FF was the best one. This one I feel like is commonly known as like a sleeper that not many people didn't get played as much as some of the other ones. And I think it was the end of the PS1 era, and it kind of just fell off hard. The PS1 did. And so by the time this came out, everyone had already moved on. I think the PS2 had already been announced and everything, so the hype was already there for it. It is considered, Sakaguchi, we've talked about him before, it is considered his personal favorite. He's the godfather of Final Fantasy. He created it, and I think you can definitely...
Was it not the last one he was involved in too?
I think he just produced it, but maybe actually, I should have looked into this more. But he might have been a lot more involved. Yeah, no, I think he was the director actually. It was the last one he was, really hands down in, and you can feel it because it has the inspiration of all the old games in it. Like it just feels like the most Final Fantasy. At least to me, I don't know. Final Fantasy means something different for everyone, but
it was good. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Also, Nobuo Uematsu,
it's like his best work, I feel like.
He says it's his favorite music that he's ever done for Final Fantasy. I think one of the reasons why he said that is because the variety of genres he does, like there's a lot of like old school, almost Shakespearean music, and then there's like some German inspired music in there when it comes to like Steiner's theme and stuff. And
the architecture goes right along with it.
Like
level design and all that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Are we doing ratings still?
Yeah, you guys want to start off?
Yeah, here's my rating, a 10. I don't really want to give a rating, but I'll say every Final Fantasy game, I've always say it's my favorite Final Fantasy game, like right after, and I think it's like recency bias. But I felt different about this one, and yes, I feel that way again. Like I'm like, oh, this is my favorite Final Fantasy, but this one, like, the story moved me more than any other Final Fantasy has, and I did the most stuff in it than I've ever done in a Final Fantasy game, as far as like getting ultimate weapons and side, like optional content. And there's a reason for that. It's just like I just was really immersed in the world, and so yeah, it's my rating's a 10, but like when it comes to Final Fantasy games right now, it's my number one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely rating it a critical hit.
Yeah.
That's for
Oh yeah,
sure.
critical hit too.
Yeah, I think the story was probably my favorite part about it. Combat was super good. Um, there are some things that are it's like okay, that's not so good. Like the trance
Yeah, the
ability
trance
where
is terrible.
it is
Yeah.
so bad. That's
Frustrating.
one thing. So, but overall I really liked it, and the story was so good. It was just like the writing was so solid.
Yeah. And with the story, it wasn't like it was super deep or like mind blowing. It was pretty straightforward story, but it was just your classic like fantasy fairy tale type deal with the princess and the fucking
Mhm.
yeah.
But
He's
it,
like grappling with his purpose in life. And
yeah, it deals
why
with
am
some
I
heavy
alive?
stuff,
And
like about
It does.
mortality. Like the
yeah,
Vivi's storyline comes to mind the most, obviously, but then of course later on, Zidane's situation kind of mirrors Vivi's, right? And this whole
Mhm.
like,
yeah,
like what's my purpose type of thing. But yeah, it was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I think this is probably one of my top 3 to 5 favorite games of all time. I really just love this game. I think it captures this really unique and original world that, like, I don't know, it's just so unique and it's a vibe. Like, it's a very just a vibey game, and it's charming as hell, and every
yeah.
aspect of it, I really think is that way. It's
Charming
just
is a great word to use. I totally agree.
yeah. Even though I said it was original, but I do feel like it pulled heavily from I always say his name, but the guy who did the Muppets and the
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson.
Uh,
I feel like it's very like Dark Crystal-y, and like
That's
because all the
yeah.
yeah, I can see
creatures
it.
in it are like
I
little
can see
like
it.
weird short like I don't even know.
Anthropomorphic sometimes,
Yeah.
and like yeah.
Uh-huh. So it's so strange.
You got tails and horns.
And then
Yeah.
just straight up like hippo children, like in the
Yeah,
streets,
yeah.
like what?
Oh yeah, what? So funny.
Yeah, pretty funny. But yeah, it's a 10 for me and it's a critical hit. I think it's probably my favorite Final Fantasy for sure. The intro, I know, takes a long time. Uh, and sometimes it can kind of be a pain. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh, the intro. But I always look fondly on the intro too. I think it takes a long time to kind of really get going. But that whole sequence of the band of thieves slash acting troupe going in, and you have the whole
Tantalus.
mission. Yeah, the Tantalus, and they're all actors but thieves, and they're stealing the princess, and then she ends up wanting to be stolen the whole time.
Of course.
I thought it was cool. And then the fight on stage, and Steiner's like the only one that's not in on it, and is like doesn't understand what's happening. It's really funny.
Steiner's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, he's
S-
so funny. He's such a good character.
He is a good
And
character. He's the one character though that I wish got more like stuff on him. Like
Yeah.
like kind of how they do like, oh, let's go explore Freya's whole thing, and then let's explore
Mm,
Vivi's. We didn't get as much of that with Steiner. I would have liked it, but
yeah,
he's great as like a what he is. Like
uh-huh. I guess his big thing is the love story with him and
Beatrix, yeah.
Beatrix. Yeah, and
yeah,
like
Yeah.
their theme song together when they're like fighting, and
That is cool.
the
Yeah.
like Shakespearean dialogue they have between each other of like honor and love and all that shit. I love it so much.
It was super fitting because when Beatrix goes from like bad to good, she's like she did it in the name of like protecting the princess, and it's like that matches completely with like Steiner's philosophy. Is like I'm just here to serve the princess. It's my oath. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're perfect
Yeah.
together.
And they had like a secret love the whole time anyway, but yeah, so good. And then you do a bunch of shit, you get to Limblum, and dude, I fucking just love Limblum. I think
Yeah.
all the towns in this game I think are, if you were to ask me what world, like video game world I would want to live in, it would probably be this one, because I just think all the towns like Trino and Lindblom, they're all just like some of the coolest. I mean, just the art to each of them, and then the music complements them all so much. But
I just
Lindblom,
want to live in one once it doesn't get destroyed.
yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot how much that happens, where it's like, oh, Lindblom's destroyed for a while. Oh,
Clara,
no.
just Odin, just
Yeah.
fucking-
Alexandria is destroyed like twice.
Twice.
Uh,
Yeah.
What do you guys think your favorite town in this game was?
Um.
Or did you even have one? I just feel like they're all so unique.
Yeah. Lundblom's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Sid is hilarious. This game.
Sid is really good, yeah.
honestly,
Bug the whole time.
yeah, Limblom or Treno for me. Oh, I love
Yeah.
I love Sid, little
Yeah.
Oglop,
Yeah.
and then a frog.
Not a frog.
Yeah. So good.
And then it ends up just being the silliest storyline that his wife was just like mad at him and
For
turned him
cheating
into-
on her. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
damn.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So funny. And then yeah, you just kind of go through the game. You go a lot of places again, like backtrack a lot, it seems. Oh yeah, the Clara section though. I think that is a really cool part of the game, is going through the two whatever Freya's race is called, their towns.
Yeah, the Vermesians, they're awesome. I actually wish we got more of the Fratly
Yeah.
because he seemed so cool and he came in and he forgets everything and stuff.
Yeah.
I could have gotten more of that, but it was good.
Yeah.
It was good the way.
Yeah, and it was so tragic because like that's what Freya was doing the whole time, was everything for him, and then he's just doesn't even know who she is.
He also seemed so strong. He just came in and just fucked everyone up in that.
Yeah. Wrecked. End of the story. Honestly, I mean, I'm gonna have some criticisms, and this is like one of my few critiques of the game, is I feel like the first 3/4 of the game are like so amazing, like just amazing, and then the last fourth just didn't fall off too hard, but it definitely is less interesting to me. The big reveals are really cool, but I don't know. And maybe even like, I don't know, halfway through the last fourth, like really not even, just the end, I guess, of the game wasn't as good as I really wanted. And this is the first time I've actually beat it all the way through. I got stuck on the part where you have to switch off a bunch of characters towards the end. Because I remember when I was younger, I would only use certain characters and intentionally not level up other characters. So then I totally fucked myself, and like you basically got soft lock because I only had one save. Oh yeah, and what characters did you guys use?
Well, all of them.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean you kind of have to.
Yeah. At some points, yeah. But my mains were definitely Vivi. And Who else? Vivi, Garnet, and Zidane, and Steiner.
Diner.
Yeah.
Yep.
My party for sure that I always tried to run was Zidane, and then Garnet, Freya, and Quina. Quina was my favorite character too. Not
Yeah.
from like a characterization standpoint, like the story's pretty, whatever. But just I don't know. I just I like when you combine everything, like the way she plays, and the comedic relief, and the way I'll say they just come into like in and out of the story all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so
Disappear chasing some food.
yeah.
Queen of travel world to eat more food, eat good food.
And dude, he actually gets some more story than like Steiner. Honestly, he
Yeah.
meets up with his master a bunch, and then Vivi's uncle or whatever. There's that whole like interaction.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I used I really like Steiner, but it does seem like if you use Steiner, you have to use VV. Otherwise, he's missing like half of his kit.
Yep.
And but I like using Freya, Quina, and then Aiko, because Aiko's just
good.
that major heals. I always floated the idea of using no Aiko or dagger and just doing Freya and Quina heals, but end game it ends up getting really hard to do that without heals. But yeah, Matt, what was your favorite character? Tommy's was Quina.
Oh, God. My favorite character. Like, if we're doing battle, like fighting, then my favorite character is probably Steiner. But it
What about
just
like characterization?
probably Uja, honestly.
Really?
He's
Okay,
just
I
such
like
a
that a lot.
nuanced character. I thought the writing behind him was so interesting.
Yep. He's pretty simple, but he's also like, I don't know. Yeah, I enjoy Kuzco a lot. What about your favorite main party character?
My favorite main party character is Garnet for sure.
Garnet, okay. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, her backstory is so good when they discover that her horn was cut off and everything like that. All that so good. And her memories are coming back, and yeah, the story's so good.
Yeah,
there.
and the whole intro sequence was her leaving Madame Sari on the boat and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Steiner has to be mine, dude. He is so obnoxious and annoying. I think he adds so much to the party. Like, he's always just being such a little bitch. Like, and when he like jumps up and down and his armor is going, it just cracks me up every time. And then the fucking art design, I think, is just amazing. The pre-rendered backgrounds look so good, and I know neither of you guys played the originals, because we played Magiri mod, by the way. But holy shit, dude, the difference is absolutely insane with the hand-drawn everything that they did for the Magiri mod just looks so good. And then the aspect ratio being so much bigger was so huge. It really was like an amazing experience to play on Magiri mod. I highly suggest it if you've never used it before. But
yeah, it was super nice.
Yeah, do you
and
you
having
guys
that
like?
speed up mode for like the Chocobo game,
Oh yeah,
whatever, like hot and cold.
That
Oh my god,
that really saved me for that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how anybody did that in the original without speeding up. That's insane. Like the amount of hours you're putting in, I don't understand how you could do that.
And without a guide, there's no hints
nuts.
that there's like, oh, there's probably more maps here, and it could take so long. I would never do it, honestly. It'd be too much.
No.
And actually, that's why I never played Hot and Cold. This is the first time I've actually gone through and done Hot and Cold when playing this game, which is crazy to think. It is. It's a really fun part.
You get so much stuff from it too. Like
yeah.
Honestly,
Ultimate weapon is so worth it.
yeah,
Yeah.
the weapons and armor you get also, which just kind of transitions to another thing I want to talk about though, was so Garnet's summons are all stronger. Like their attacks are stronger based off of how many of the associated jewel you have in your inventory, and that's how you get a big chunk of them. Is from the chocographs. Like sometimes you'll dig one up and it's like 16, lapis lazuli or whatever. And
Yeah, I never knew that before. That's so crazy that that's a mechanic that I never even knew, and I played this game since I was like 10 years old.
there's so many mechanics in the game
Yeah,
like
there's
that
so
too. I loved what's her name? Freya had a one of her special moves was called Dragon Crescent, and it maxes out to 9999. Like the more dragons you've defeated on your save file. So towards the end of the game, I just like grinded a few dragons until that attack started doing 999, and like that's all I attacked.
Oh
I
my
didn't use jump anymore,
God.
really, unless you use
That's so
trance.
smart.
Wow, that's huge. Okay, so that's like frog drop with Queena, but
Yeah.
killing
For Freya,
dragon.
yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. So like every character has one almost. And then
Almost every character does, yeah.
Thievery is stealing. How many times you steal makes the power go up
Mm-hmm.
for Zidane.
The other characters might have them too. That I don't know. But then also, some of Aiko's summons would change. There's only two. There's Fenrir, which is the first one you get. If you use an emerald, it's like a wolf summon that does wind, which is like a really useful element to hit. And then Carbuncle will do different buffs depending on what jewel you're wearing. So like by default it does reflect, which isn't that great. I feel like or situational at best. But then the other ones are like cast haste on all the party, cast protect on all the party, or basically like half of a mighty guard. And I loved Aiko. Just since I'm on the topic, I thought Aiko was really funny. At first, I thought it'd be kind of like cringy, just like the way that they set up her having a crush on Zidane. But she ended up being like some of the best comedic parts for me. Like when they're in the castle and she gets knocked down and like is hanging from the rafter or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they just whoever it is like finds her just leaves her there.
Yeah, I think it's Queena, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she honestly, dude, I think in FF games, I think these are some of the best and unique characters, main party
Absolutely.
characters. Like they all fit their play style so much, like their personality, just like I don't know, like it's just like the perfect embodiment of like Zidane's a thief and he's plays the role really well, and then
It's interesting because like we've done FF10 on this on our show before, and that's the first Final Fantasy to have voice acting, right? But
yeah.
like there's just something it's great. I mean, like I already said FF9 is my favorite, so I put it above FF10 right now, and like it's crazy to say that. It's like, yeah, I liked the characters better, even though we didn't hear their voice or anything. It's like there's something special about that, like you get to hear your own voice in your head, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Just having the text, you can use your imagination.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel like I straight up playing these games as a kid. Like I got good at reading just from playing these games, and it was a form of reading for me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Which is cool.
It has a way more
There's
reading
a
than
lot
any
of
other
reading.
video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a lot of reading. That's for sure. Nobu Uematsu said it's his best work, in his opinion. Do you guys feel like that is accurate?
Yes,
From what you've heard?
I do.
I think so.
I do. So on this topic too, because I kind of disagree with you. I thought the ending towards the end of the game was amazing, and that's actually when it like clicked for me the
I
most.
really liked it too.
Not only because you have the most freedom with your party, but like I think it's called Portal to Another World when you go see where Zidane's from and stuff. Like,
Oh yeah, Pandemonium.
yeah, Pandemonium maybe. Yeah, that part hit me in the feels. Like like I teared up during that Not Alone section. Like the music hit so hard that the song called Not Alone, while he's just like sitting there in the darkness, and then he's like each character is coming by and like talking to him, and then you have to go through that fight where like each fight a different character joins him to help him, and like that was just that just hit me so hard.
Yeah, and they're all like inspiring him, and
Yeah, that was like when I really fell in love with the game. Honestly, it was where everything came together for me. Like the music, the story, and the appreciation of the characters all at once. I was just like, holy shit, this game is awesome.
Yeah, no, that scene hit hard. That was so good. I loved Endgame. I thought it was so cool. Even like all the different pathways you're taking when you're going to fight Kuja.
Memoria is such a trippy place too.
crazy.
So
For
awesome.
me, it was just kind of like you. I don't know. Kuja was the bad guy through the whole thing, and then all of a sudden at the end, there's the fucking you. He's not even the final boss. You fight. I forgot who you fight now.
Necron.
Necron is just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm this god actually that you didn't know about till now.
Well,
but I'm
Kuja like saves you, like revives us, like right before it.
yeah.
So he has like that change of
He has that
heart.
Yeah, because he's Zidane brother, and
Yeah, Kuja was it like I mean it was kind of like I wouldn't say like predictable, but like he was a good story device, I think, for sure for Zidane, right? Especially when at the very end when Zidane goes to be with him, like when he's about to die. I was like, okay, that it's like it gives the opportunity for Zidane to like show his character development because he was a character that just like all he talked about was girls and flirting and stuff early on, and then by the end of the game, he was having me tear up like in the Not Alone scene. So it's like
he did have some character growth that was,
and I love when he says right before he goes to the Ifa tree or Ifa, however you say that, to be with Kuja at the very end, and they're all getting on Sid's ship, and he's like. He says to Dagger, like, all right, I'm done kidnapping you. Like, as a callback to all the way in the beginning, how he just, like, kidnapped her. And he's like, the kidnapping's over.
Oh, yeah. So, music. You guys do think it lines up with his best work?
I do.
Yeah, I think
honestly, so. There's a lot of good tracks in here, but
I do like FF10, though.
I think FF10 might... his music, but the thing is, dude, that was the first FF where they actually only half used Nobuo Uematsu, and then they pulled in a couple other.
I was gonna say, FF10 didn't feel like pure Nobuo.
Yeah, it's not
really good, but
yeah. Well, yeah, and so I guess that's hard to say, but also I think FF8, as many faults as 8 has, I think 8's soundtrack is better in my opinion. I like.
I haven't played it.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't say I haven't played it, but FF7 I feel like also had like to me it just has a lot of memorable music, but
yep.
FF9, and it might be the recency bias again, but it just like it just shot to the top for me. Also, I'll say it again, Not Alone is like my new favorite Final Fantasy song of all.
Oh hell yeah!
Like when the guitar comes in. So badass.
Yeah. Did you add that to the Spotify list?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. That was as far as I've gotten in this game. I made it a little past Pandemonium.
That's probably part of why you like the beginning so much too. Is you played it so much. You have the most nostalgia for part like the first half.
I just love the whole intro and then getting to Limblum and doing all that shit and then going through the Clara and Burmesius section. I just love all of that stuff. It's just so fun to me.
Yeah, there's so many good parts. And they're running out of the forest in the beginning. That so good.
And the forest is turning into stone.
Yep.
So good.
What was that, dude? What was the...
Blank.
Blank.
Yeah.
Blank's such a good character too.
What the hell?
People
that
always
game is so long. You forget about everybody.
Yep. Yeah.
Cinna.
Blank's always one people they wish was in the game more.
He
You
was good.
use like all of them in the party at least once, I think. Like there's Cinna, Blank, and Marcus, and they're all like make an appearance in the party.
Yeah.
And then Cinna's hammer is actually a weapon you can get.
yeah.
You can't use it for anyone, but you use it for synthesis.
Yep. Thought that was pretty funny. And then, so I think after this point, kind of going back to music, they started doing a strong female vocal song. And
In the credits, you mean?
yeah, it's that song, but the song is used in the game so many times. It's just they bring in the vocals for it. Like it's the same song that when you're on the world map plays, and then they use it in a bunch of different that they use that motif in a bunch of different ways.
Is it not the song that Garnet's like singing whenever she's off by herself?
Yeah, la
Okay.
la la la.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So funny.
So Jane loves that. He's
Yeah,
about it.
is.
It's our song.
Yeah, our song, baby.
Oh god.
Oh, the mechanics.
So I love talking about this.
How did you feel about? So I think they came from 7, which was a pretty complicated, like, materia, and there's so much customizability that you can do with that. And it can be overwhelming almost with like this shit you can do. Then in FF8 they went so loose that it made it so the game could break. And then with this, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. It's just you need to keep buying equipment and upgrading your equipment so you can learn new abilities and stuff like that. But there's not really much to it. How did you guys feel about it?
I thought it would be cool if there was like some skill tree. Like not just having to switch between items.
Yeah. Dude, this was almost like, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure skill trees in video games had not been invented yet. Like, there was not really skill tree things. Like, when FF10 came out with the sphere grid, that shit was like,
oh yeah,
monumental.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like a skill tree, was the sphere grid. And I really think the sphere grid is an amazing system for one. But yeah.
Well, I love this system. It actually is similar to Final Fantasy II. Because in that game you pick up items and you have to use it, or like weapons and stuff, and the more you use them, then you like learn the stuff, or the stuff that it does get stronger. So there's a lot like that, and I mean, yeah, it got tedious sometimes, so I have to like switch stuff around. But
heavy menuing all the time.
There was a lot of variety in like in the fact that like some characters had things that only they could get, right? Like obviously Aiko had like Guardian Mog, and then Jump for Freya, you know, like a few abilities that only certain characters could get. And yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. I played with it a lot. There's aspects to it that are just like, oh, it's not as in depth as like Materia or whatever. But then I feel like it got made up for by the fact that there's these cool scaling things like we talked about earlier, with like the how many dragons you've killed, how many steals you've done, how many frogs you've caught. Like I got like that. There's like those little secret like powerful moves. I thought was so cool. The only thing that I wouldn't say I didn't like, but I was just surprised by is that there's no multi-target heal besides White Wind. But like, there's no Kiraga multi-heal. You know?
Oh, there is.
There is.
You said right trigger.
Oh yeah, I should have told you that. They don't tell you this in the game at all.
Well, I didn't even know.
You could do it with black magic spells too, and
Wow.
cast it on all the enemies.
Well, I played the whole game without doing that, so
So yeah,
that
you
says
played on
something.
hard
That's
mode.
hilarious.
But yeah, like
Oh yeah.
if you press the trigger, it casts it on everybody, but it's not as powerful. But like with Curaga, you'll heal the shit out of everyone anyway.
Wow.
So
I needed that. I needed that, man. I went through most of the game totally blind. I didn't look anything up. I just kind of let it lead me. And then towards the end, I had to start being like, okay, I need to do
need
more
help.
damage.
yeah,
Yeah.
I barely even
And I
used.
did
I mean,
not cool.
probably because I thought it was single target, but like I just used auto regen towards the end. Like towards the end of the game, I didn't really heal. Like I would use auto regen, then every now and then cast like a single target Curaga. On
all
someone,
your
just, like,
characters would have auto regen.
yeah, just like auto regen, auto haste, and then just like a few other things. And
I had those on for sure.
that was my favorite way to play though. And then always using Quinn as support stuff too.
Auto haste was really fun.
Yeah, and the auto regen also was just like so much better than actual regen because it stays on the whole time.
Yeah,
Same thing with auto haste. Whereas the other abilities, they last like not very long. I think I actually based off their like your spirit stat. I can't
feel
believe
like
I
that's
didn't
really
know about
similar.
the multi-target system.
yeah, that's
I
really
feel-
funny.
I mean, the game didn't feel too hard to me though. Like
No.
I didn't know about it for a while. And then
I
figured
first
it out.
tried almost everything. I mean, granted, I
No,
was using a
Evan, you told
guide,
me.
but
Well, you beat the game.
yeah,
I think this game is some of the hardest random encounters in any Final Fantasy. Like I just felt like random encounters could just take you out all the time. Did you guys feel like that?
I turned them off after a while.
I did not.
I
I
was like, this is too much.
I don't know if maybe I just had like the leveling curve was just perfectly high enough for every area I was in for me, but there was the end game characters that I literally couldn't beat. What are they called? The Tran, the little goats. Little, you know what I'm talking about? Little goat.
Remember the goats.
It's actually the last friendly creature if you do the friendly creature quest.
Oh yeah, did you do the friendly creature quest? I know who you're
did.
talking about now. They are so they're on that teeny little island.
Yeah.
in, like one part of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then also, I never ran into a Tomberry. I know they're in them, but I never came across one. I wish I did.
Also,
I'm thinking-
random thought. I think this is my least favorite airship in any Final Fantasy. Like in other FFs, 8, 7, even 10, I guess you could say. I loved just roaming around the airships and like getting all the feels in.
10, you don't even ride it though. It's just a fast
you can
travel.
It is, but you can still at a
Walk
certain point,
around in it.
walk around, and just like the way the ship's built is really cool, I think. And there's like Owaka was in there, and he sells you things, and I actually
That's what I wish they had in there. Is something, someone to buy stuff from.
Yep.
That's what I
it's
didn't
kind of like your
about it.
home base. It's kind of like your home base. So
Mhm.
yeah, why wouldn't you have someone in there?
Yeah.
But
I get that.
yeah, I mean, not a big gripe. And this is one of the Final Fantasies that focuses on airships the most, I feel like, too. So I was kind of, bummed that the airship you get at the end, the Invincible, isn't super badass.
Yeah, it's not a ton of stuff in it. I just used Deguero. That was like my home base. Once I had that town, I just go there all the time.
That was a really cool town. Another cool place to live. Cool. Well, I fucking love this game. It's definitely one of my favorite games of all time. And I feel like I keep saying that probably too. Or I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite game of all time. I feel like I've said that a lot. But this really is favorite RPG at least. But this and 10, FF10. But yeah.
Yeah. Like I've said before, it's my favorite Final Fantasy for now. But I'll be surprised if it changes. Like, yeah, because I mean, just thinking about which ones are left, like.
Yeah, which ones have you played?
So FF7 and 10 we played for our show, and then FF16, which is just so different. It's just so hard to compare with.
Yeah.
But even if I had to, I still wouldn't put it above 9. And then 1 and 2, which I loved a lot, and I actually even said those were my favorite after I played them too. But yeah, no, FF9, I expect it to stay at the top for a while for FF games for me.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite ones. I don't know. I can't decide if I like it more than FF7, but it's definitely up there.
7 is a classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. The steampunk, just the grimy feel of 7 is, I don't know. It's really cool. The whole world in 7 is amazing.
Yeah, maybe that was one of the things that, well, I mean, as cool as it is, the theme, I guess I just liked the cheery, or like just the more fantasy fairy tale world of a 9.
Not too serious. It never took itself way too
it wasn't
serious.
like trying to be too cyberpunky and stuff.
Yeah. It's more steampunk, I would say, with how they do airships and Limblom felt
or
very
mist
steampunky.
punk.
Yeah, mist punk. Huge theme.
Covered in mist. The mist is back.
And I love how every Final Fantasy, the summons are like, or at least in the later ones, the summons play some kind of role. They call them something different.
Yeah.
Like icons, eidolons. What are they in 10? I can't remember now.
I think they're just summons. No, aeons.
Aeons, yeah. It's always
and then in 8 they're called GFs, Guardian Forces.
Yeah, it's always funny to see the different iterations of that. And this one is pretty. It didn't like take too center stage. I feel like it's just like, oh, they're these powerful things. Whereas in like FF10, it was kind of like, I don't know, like the summoners at least like played such a big role in the story.
Yeah, they were like front and center in FF10 for sure. All right, boys. Well, first video format podcast, so it's exciting.
And we'll show you the next game right now. Signing off.
Right down there.
Yeah, right down here.
Alrighty. DC Doos.